Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about why you should care about waste. So you may be new to our website, you may be poking around a little bit, trying to figure out exactly who we are, what we do, and if you actually have needs that we can help with. So you might find yourself wondering, all right, what's the big deal with waste? Why bother looking at your waste expenses or having an independent auditor do that for you? The answer is really simple, guys. It's because 90% of companies in the US are overspending on their waste and recycling expenses. So you're likely one of them. You should care about your waste expenses because they're costing you in 3 ways. They're cutting into your profits, they're stealing your time, and they're making sure that you lose savings opportunities. Let's talk about the unexamined waste expenses and how they cut into your profits. So if you spend more than $10,000 annually on waste, there's a good chance you're sitting on savings. There are so many ways that your waste disposal is designed to entrap you. And I'm talking about the industry in general, but I'm also talking specifically about your contract here. There are specific clauses that you need to have on your contract to make sure that you don't overspend now and in the future. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about some of these here shortly. Actually, on this slide right here, that's right. So I'm going to focus right now on your waste and recycling contract. These contracts make you overpay. And when I say these, I mean the ones that are industry standard. They make you overpay because they don't limit or eradicate price spikes, ancillary fees, or poor service issues. These are the things that come on a standard contract. And I'm going to say this a lot in this video. People don't realize that it's a problem and people don't know that they can do anything about it. But that's not going to be you by the end of this video. So price spikes are going to happen at least once a year. And if they're not regulated or eliminated, they're just going to keep on happening. Guys, if a hauler knows that they can raise spikes, if they have done that consistently at your location or set of locations, what's going to stop them from continuing to do it? Ancillary fees can compound over time. So paying a $40 fuel fee every month may not seem like that much, but over 5 years, the typical term of a trash disposal service agreement, that's $2,400 you could have saved at that one location. Again, this is just another example of something that likely is allowed based on your current waste contract, but it really shouldn't be. Fuel isn't the only ancillary fee you may be seeing on your invoices. So you can get charged for having too much weight in your dumpsters or too little. You can get charged to cover services in other regions or charged for not getting paperless bills. And most people are just going to pay these fees. But you don't have to. That is, you don't have to if your contract has a specific clause stating that your prices are all inclusive. Not having provisions for bad service can also be expensive. This is another way that people find themselves overpaying, unfortunately. So suppose you have a hauler who just can't seem to remember to make a site visit on Wednesdays for whatever reason. Or suppose you have a hauler who leaves a mess every time he or she services your compactor. If your contract doesn't provide recourse for service issues, you can easily get trapped into employing a less than satisfactory hauler. Waste services are designed to be exorbitant. Guys, I wish they weren't, but I find I've spent a couple months actually on the service side of things here at Waste Consultants. And what I saw over and over and over again was that the way that the status quo or the way that the normal contract is set up, it allows for these price spikes. It allows for ancillary fees to exist, and they don't typically include service provisions. Because of that, people consistently overpay. Your hauler is banking on the fact that they can continue to use price spikes to increase their profits. And they typically do. Most people don't realize that they can and should question the way their contracts are set up. Let's talk about how unexamined waste problems steal your time. So this is the second main reason you should care about your waste expenses. So nobody loves spending 45 minutes on waiting on hold to yell at their hauler. Nobody enjoys making service calls to their hauler. You and your staff shouldn't have to babysit them to ensure that they're going to do what they've contractually obligated to do. Time is one of you and your staff's greatest resources. If you spend a lot of it constantly course correcting your hauler, you can't spend it on attending to other more pressing responsibilities. You didn't hire your staff so they could handle hauler issues. Now, some of you may be saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or it's really not that much. And sometimes, for many of you, it may not be, but for some of you, when those hauler issues really become an issue, and this is what I've found, again, after serving for several months on the service side of things here at Waste Consultants, when there is a big hauler issue, it typically takes a very large amount of time to solve. It can take weeks, it can even take months. We've seen that specifically with getting billing credits for some of our clients. Haulers can just be very difficult to get a hold of, and they can be very reticent and hesitant to promptly correct issues when they arise. And so what we've found, and based on what some of our clients have told us, their time can continually be sucked away, just a little bit at a time, and that adds up over time. It's effort that could have gone towards other plans, other projects, other things that they could be doing to help serve your residents or your visitors, and that's time that they can't get back. So haulers also consistently take advantage of your industry knowledge gaps. And this is the third and last reason. And as a result, because you don't know what you don't know, savings opportunities are going to go overlooked most often. So most of the waste industry can get away with what it does because clients just don't know any better. Businesses think they have to pay ancillary fees and that it's normal to have tons of hauler issues. The waste industry and the haulers especially don't always treat their customers like people. They don't always treat you all fairly. A lot of them have some pretty shady ways of operating. They may ask you to sign contracts that are in their favor, paying the prices they want for the services they decide you should have. This isn't okay, and it's not fair to you, the people with whom they do business. And again, I think I've mentioned this before, if not in this video, then certainly in others. Most haulers are simply doing what the norm is. Most haulers aren't out to get you. It's just the way the industry is set up and what the typical industry standards unfortunately are. That said, there are many haulers that we work with for our clients that charge fair rates, that have fair contracts, and who really do have their customers good interests at heart. So do understand that I'm not making a blanket statement about all haulers everywhere. I'm just saying what we have typically found as a waste industry leader for the past 18 years. So to review, you should care about your waste expenses because they're costing you in 3 ways. They're likely cutting into your profits. There's a good chance they're stealing your time. And it's almost certain that they're taking advantage of your industry knowledge gaps. So guys, if you want to do something about this, sign up for a free discovery call. It only takes 15 minutes of your time. And by the end of that phone call, you're going to have a really good idea of what exactly we do, how we do it, and whether we can help you. I'm going to put a link at the end of this video. Just click that. You can likely sign up for a free consult in the next 15 minutes to an hour.